What is going on, everybody? Look who it is, or what it is. I'm back after about a year or so of being MIA, my friends, in a long time. Life, I suppose, happened, good and bad. Sometimes more bad than good, I suppose. But what are you gonna do? Gotta keep on keeping on. So, like I said, it's been a while, so I figured, what the hell, why not post something? It's been long enough, and I ain't got shit to do right now. So, when last we spoke or met, you guys saw and heard this bad boy running on the engine stand that I made. That's it right there in pieces. It is now living in my engine bay, happily, with the transmission mated to it, and supercharger. Yep, that wasn't there last time. I don't think so. If my memory serves me properly, I don't think there was any mention of that neither at all. And but there it is. We'll get back to him later. And so motor, transmission, supercharger, front cross members, and well, that's been in for shit longer than I can remember now. Brake booster, that is a 7 or 8 inch brake booster. I want to say it's a 7 inch, sounds about right. Dual chamber, dual tandem, master cylinder, billet aluminum, polished wheel wood. Brake lines to the front are, both sides are done. I just need the rear brake line coming from that proportioning valve over yonder, going to the rear, then it tees off, you know, with the flex lines into each caliper. I have not got to that yet, but basically done as far as the brakes go. I'm counting it like it's done. Steering column, back half is finally done. What a fucking rigmarole, huh? That took forever. And when I say it's done, I mean the structural stuff is done. Like if you know, everything was hooked up, we could rock and roll right now. The panels are still loose. What a surprise, huh? But I'll get to that later. But basically, you know, it's almost there. What else? What else have I done? Dynamat. Installed some Dynamat. Kind of ass backwards, I'm not gonna lie, because I decided to go with a roll cage. There's some of it over there. Yeah, I put the Dynamat in, then I decided to supercharge it like an idiot. Didn't plan out the build properly. And I was like, well, shit. I want a supercharger, I want a little bit more power, so I'm gonna need a cage. I'm gonna have to, you know. These old cars are kind of dangerous. And so now I have to cut up a little 6x6 for the floor plates for the where the cage mounts. You gotta have 1/8 inch thick 6 inch by 6 inch plates when you have a unibody car, which is what this is, of course. So I had to cut up a few sections of the Dynamat. Not a big deal, but did it a little ass backwards. Got the Dynamat in, motor tranny, 4-link is done, except for the panels. Wheels and tires are on. Let's see if we can get a better shot of it. Got too much stuff in my warehouse. And a bunch of towels and shit all over. That's kind of shitty for you guys. Sorry about that. But, yep. In case you're wondering, the rear is 20 by 15. Fronts are 19 by 10. The rear tire is a Mickey Thompson Sportsman SR, 29 inch tall by 17 inch wide is what it works out to, something like that. I forget the tire size in the front. It's like a 275 something bullshit other. I don't know, don't remember. And yeah, some people don't really like the bigger size wheels. In my opinion, I don't really think these are that big. I mean, look at the car, it's a boat. I know a lot of the old school guys, if any of you are watching this, are probably thinking it's a goddamn travesty. And to each his own, I say. I love the stock look of these old cars with the small smaller wheels, 15-inch wheels or whatever, 17s, I don't know exactly what they are. Yeah, 15 or 17, somewhere in there. I like that look, I really do, appreciate it. It's stock, it's the way the factory intended it to look, but it's not really my cup of tea. And I certainly wasn't gonna do no fucking 22-inch wheels or nothing crazy like that. That's it's not my cup of tea. But yeah, these are some bitchin' wheels, even if I do say so myself. Gotta have that polished lip. That's like a 6.5 inch. Yeah, 6.5 inch lip. I forget the back spacing on it. They're killer though. Yeah, if we, if this was out in the sunlight, it would. Holy shit, there's a fucking spider on my hand. I just knocked him off. Little fucker. You're gonna die right now. Yep, sorry. Hate spiders. But the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, daylight. This thing looks a lot better in the daylight, of course. But it's nighttime, so I can't help you. I got this seat and bracket combo from summitracing.com. It's I forget the part number, sorry about that, but it's one of the only kits available on Summit for these B bodies. It's a bitchin' kit in my opinion. I think I paid $525, $530, something like that. Pretty good quality. There's better stuff out there, but it's not bad at all. Pretty damn comfortable. For race style bucket seats, they're bolstered pretty decent. I know, horrible lighting. I wish I had better lighting in here, but kind of give you guys a review. But that's what they are. They're Pro Car Scat by Scat. They come with the two seats and the, seat brackets to mount them, and they're as good as garbage. The passenger side bracket, I had to weld a little spacer, like a 1/4 inch spacer, by 1 inch by 1 inch, whatever. It's like a 1/4 inch thick. Had to weld it to one of the legs because the whole thing was just teeter-tottering. And neither side, none of the bolt holes lined up, so I had to make new bolt holes. There was like 1 or 2 other guys on Summit who bought the same exact kit, same seats. For one of them was a 72 Charger, B body, 72 Charger, I think. And he said the same thing, but he said he had to heavily modify his. Mine wasn't too bad, I guess, but it still wasn't fun at all. And but it's not like it was something out of this world, where I had to completely hack them up. I didn't have to do that. I don't know about our buddy there on Summit. I don't know exactly what he had to do, but that was one of the things wrong with the kit, seat brackets. Other than that, thumbs up for me. I recommend it. Pretty damn comfortable. Obviously, I haven't driven the car with them, so who really knows? But I sat in the driver's side seat for about 20 minutes or so, and just to get a feel for it. It feels pretty good, and I have a bad lower back, so for me, it's pretty good. And I'm pretty damn picky when it comes to the interior, as far as comfortability goes. Is that a word? Comfortability? I don't know. I think, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's pretty good, man. And they look bitchin' too. It's like black Valor, I don't know how you say that. V-E-L-O-U-R, I think. V-E-L-O-U-R, something like that. Anyway, long story short, I like them. They look sweet. I'm working on the center console currently. And that die cast piece over there, goddamn phone. It's about to die here. Got low battery. But that top piece there for the original center console, I chopped up. And it's coming out sweet. Got my B&M Pro Ratchet shifter. I cut out a base plate for it, and then that original pedestal right there. Right over yonder, that guy. That original pedestal needs to be ever so slightly modified to accommodate this aftermarket guy. And I'm gonna be able to retain the original center console for this ratchet shifter, and the housing there, the boot, whatever you wanna call it, is gonna sit recessed inside the whole center console there. that guy. It's looking pretty trick so far. Cutting die cast is a pain in the ass. I probably should have used a cutoff wheel made for aluminum, right? I figured, because it's die cast, right? It's a blend of metals. It's like aluminum and zinc, and is it copper or brass? I want to say copper, but I use a cutoff wheel on my grinder for that, and a cutoff wheel for steel. And let me tell you, it made a racket the likes of which you've never heard. It was horrendous. And then, like I said, I do sandblasting for a living. And when we blast, our setup sounds like a goddamn 747 jumbo jet taking off. It's loud. And so for me to tell you that that was loud, I mean every bit of loud. It was fucking loud. But, and then aside from that, that wasn't too bad. I just put some earplugs in after I went deaf. But the time it took forever to cut through that damn die cast. I don't know what the hell it was, but it took forever. And it got scalding hot. I mean, to the point where not just the area that I was cutting, but the whole damn plate got scalding hot, man. You couldn't handle it. So I had to cool it down with some compressed air, because I die cast is fairly stout, but it ain't the stoutest by any means. So I didn't know if this thing was gonna fragment and come unglued and just fucking destroy itself. So I had to cool it down as I went along. Took a long time, basically. And I just encountered a few little issues along the way, like those seat brackets, had to modify those. This little carburetor throttle bracket here for my throttle cable was this little kind of, I don't want to say dinky, but it just wasn't, super top of the line. So I guess you get what you pay for, Certainly wasn't the cheapest though. But what was happening was, it was just this arm here and this little ear sticking out here, and then bolted to only one carburetor stud. So what would happen was, when you go to stand on the throttle, obviously because of the tension, the action going this way, this whole thing was twisting, just torquing to the side. Obviously that ain't no good, kind of dangerous rather. So what I had to do was weld on this little extension here to the original piece, so I could use both carburetor studs, which is how it should have came from the manufacturer, in my opinion, but it did not. Not a big deal, not for me. But I guess what I'm saying is, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to it. You buy these parts for your old car, and it says it's for your car and your intake manifold and your carburetor, and it's for a B body. It ain't. It's sort of for your car. Not always, but sometimes you do have to modify these parts. I'm like, man, what's going on? Am I an idiot? Am I ordering for a C body or a E body? What the hell's going on? But nope. Because other guys say the same things too. So, not too much of a big deal, What I did mind was this goddamn main hoop here. This fucking thing, when I got it, the two legs were kicked out so far that it wouldn't even fit it wouldn't fit in the car. And I am not exaggerating at all. I mean, it literally would not fit in the goddamn car. So I had to take it to an exhaust shop close by and pay a guy $20 to straighten them out. Fits pretty damn good now. And I could kind of understand. I'm sure some of you guys are going, whoa, they don't leave it completely bent to your spec, because some people mount the legs on a box, that's shaped to the contour of the rocker panel. I can understand that, but the fact that it didn't fit all together in the car, that's kind of horse shit, So that one I did mind, because I had to take time away from work and miss out on a job potentially, and pay a guy to straighten it out, take time away from work. It was a fucking rigmarole. So that I did mind. But this other stuff here, here's another one. Here's another example. This bracket here that holds this proportioning valve was made to mount on this side, but the apron here, this inner fender, was in the way. And it said, make sure this is for a B body when you're placing your order on this setup. Make sure it's for your car. Application 1968 B body, check. Only for cars that were originally power brakes from factory, which this was. Guess what? It didn't fit, so I had to cut the bracket and flip it like a mirror image, weld it back up, and stick it on this side. You know, kind of contradicting myself, but you know, as much of a horse shit this is, where you have to go back over someone else's work and do it the right way, it's annoying because you pay for something and you should get the product that you pay for, right? You pay for something that's supposed to be for your car and it's not. You got to modify it. Sometimes it doesn't even fit altogether. It's kind of horseshit, but this is why I say I'm contradicting myself a little bit, because at the same time, maybe I'm a sick bastard, I kind of like the challenge of taking something, modifying it, doing it the right way, and making it work for your application. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you thinking fresh, keeps you busy, and it gives you the opportunity to sharpen your skills, to keep practicing, stay on the up and up on your skills. Because some of us don't always get to weld, so some of us don't always get to fabricate. So it's kind of nice in some fucked up way, you know. It's kind of horse shit that it's not what it says it is, but at the same time keeps you on your toes. Does that make sense? What else? Back half, 4-link, engine transmission, brake system, steering wheels, seats. What else? I don't know. I guess we'll go to my final thoughts for this video. I was getting to a point where I was getting discouraged because of shit that was happening in my life recently, and other things. Sometimes I think we can all agree that we kind of go through ups and downs in our lives, right? Shit that was happening, you know, I was starting to get discouraged with the car. I wasn't working. I didn't touch this thing for like, man, maybe a little over 3 months straight up, you know. And but I got back into it, you know, and I'm basically telling you, you know, don't give up, dude. Don't be that guy that invests tens of thousands of dollars in his car and then he loses interest because whatever happens, you know, and then you fucking have to let the car go for pennies on the dollar, because you may have 40 grand in your car on paper with all the parts that you've bought, the fabrication and the price of the car. Nobody's going to give you that, because no one's going to pay for a half complete car. They're gonna you know, bring you down on the price and say, oh, well, it's in pieces. I'm not giving you 40 grand. I'll give you 15. And you let the car go for nothing. You know, it's a shame. Don't do that. Don't do that. What else? I'm running out of juice in my phone here, and this video is going on for a long time. But supercharger, Torque Storm, recommend it. Never used it, but it's all billet aluminum. Seems to be of good quality. Heard nothing but good reviews and good stuff about them. Talked to the main guy, I believe he's the main guy, Chris, over at Torque Storm. Super cool dude. Walked me through it. Seems like a nice guy. This is my free advice if you're gonna boost your motor, or even nitrous, really, more or less the same thing. You're gonna need a high performance electronic fuel pump to accommodate that high pressure fuel flow that you're gonna need. Good quality fuel pressure regulator with a boost reference port and a return port back to the tank. Don't get, I think it's called a deadhead style regulator. You don't want that shit for many reasons. I won't go into it, but you don't want that. You want something to control timing. I am going to go with the BTM from MSD. It's the Boost Timing Master, or Boost Timing Module. Retards timing up to 3 degrees of timing per pound of boost. Obviously, blow-through carburetor. That is not a blow-through. I have a Holly Demon somewhere over yonder. And that's basically it. One thing that a lot of people overlook other than, obviously you want forged rotating assembly, crank pistons, rods, good bearings. One thing that a lot of people overlook, your piston ring gap. Anytime you put nitrous or boost through a motor, you're introducing more pressure, and with more pressure comes more heat. So with more heat comes more expansion, right? So your piston rings want to close up even more so with a boost or nitrous. And if those rings touch, some of you already know what happens, right? But for those of you that don't, if those piston ring ends touch, they overlap, they bind, they snap, break off, and they shear the fucking piston right in half, and it's all over. So watch your ring end gap, okay? Watch out for that. That's basically it. Air to fuel ratio gauge kit, and don't get the single side one, because there's some kits that only tap into one bank. You want one that can read both exhaust pipes, okay? Good quality one, and it's gonna run you about like $800 to $1,200 for a good one. Yeah, it's kind of expensive. And obviously a bitchin' tune and good quality fuel. Yeah, so EFI, high performance fuel pump, fuel pressure regulator, return outlet, and a boost reference port, something to control your timing, good fuel, blow through carb, good bitchin' tune, air to fuel ratio kit. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm trying to run through this quickly because I'm wasting too much of your guys' time as it is. But I think that's it. I'll let you guys go. Hope you enjoyed it. If not, I don't give a shit.